Coming up on today's show, Polestar announces pricing for the Polestar 2 in the US, a Porsche Taycan 4S beats its EPA range rating by nearly 50%, and Ford unveils an all-electric Mustang Cobra Jet drag car that's certainly ready for some fun on the drag strip. These stories and more coming next. Welcome back to another roundup in the world of cleaner, greener, safer and smarter transportation. I'm sure, like me, you've probably lost track of how many weeks we are into this lockdown, but I hope that you're staying relatively sane and, of course, safe. As always, if you're one of the many people on the front line for all of this, thank you. Thanks also go to the Electric Auto Association for their sponsorship of today's show. Find out how you can accelerate the electrification of transportation today by heading to electricauto.org. Polestar has announced official pricing for the US market launch of its Polestar 2 electric car. At $59,900 before incentives, the Polestar 2 is far more expensive than some of the competition, but it's actually priced lower than most were expecting. With a 78 kilowatt-hour battery pack and an expected range of between 250 and 275 miles on the US EPA test cycle, Polestar is outperformed and outpriced by Tesla's Model 3. That said, I think it's still going to gain a decent amount of interest from those who are looking for something that's got a more premium feel and is not a Tesla. And the market is most certainly big enough for both models. Lucid, like other automakers, is feeling the bite of stay-at-home orders, but just like us, they're finding ways to get things done outside of the office. In the case of Lucid, this means putting together a very nice video covering the winter testing that 2 Lucid Air prototypes took part in earlier this year. Filmed in northern Minnesota, where winter temperatures drop down to negative 33 degrees Celsius, Lucid put its Lucid Air Beta 4 and Beta 5 cars through the kind of tests that every automaker puts their cars through before making a car ready to enter into production. Driving on ice tracks, circle tracks, handling courses, and of course in deep snow, the cars performed as expected. And while the majority of owners will never put their cars through that kind of endurance test, well, it's certainly fun to watch. Thanks to some new software updates for Tesla's latest Raven generation of Model S and Model X cars, Tesla says that Tesla Performance Model S and Model X cars built with Raven hardware can now perform the stoplight sprint in a very short period of time. Model S takes 2.3 seconds, while Model X performance models with the same drivetrain will get a 2.6 second sprint time. This is made possible thanks to a new mode called Cheetah stance, which makes use of adaptive air suspension to hunker the front of the car down for better traction. Tesla says the software tweaks also give its cars 3 times the thermal endurance than previous software iterations, as well as 45 more horsepower. As Electrek notes, it also means that Model S performance now matches the Dodge Challenger SRT Demon in the Stoplight Derby. That's a showdown I can't wait to see. Official range figures, be they from the notoriously optimistic NEDC test cycle, purely fictitious JC08 Japanese test cycle, or slightly more realistic EPA test cycle, are often criticised as being impossible to match in the real world. But as several journalists are discovering, the official EPA range ratings for the 2020 Porsche Taycan 4S, 203 miles if you're interested, is far less than the car can actually manage in the real world. In many separate tests, different journalists have managed to extend the 4S's range to more than 300 miles with no problem at all. Since automakers play a massive part in reporting their cars' range to the EPA, and thus can easily underquote range or overquote it if they feel the need, I think this may be a ploy by Porsche to ensure that, even when driven hard, the Taycan manages the quoted range in the sales material. And that, frankly, is a really smart move. It's not how far you can go, but how quickly you can charge. That's the message from Audi, which published a new video this week showcasing how much quicker its e-tron and e-tron Sportback are to charge from empty to full than other cars in the EV marketplace. While the e-tron is limited to a maximum charging speed of 150 kilowatts right now, Audi's video and accompanying data shows that its vehicles can charge at 100 kilowatts or faster, nearly all the way to 80% full. This, by the way, is made possible because Audi hides a significant amount of battery capacity at the higher end of the state of charge. Audi argues that because its cars can charge from empty to 100% full in 45 minutes, versus a claimed 90 minutes for its unnamed competitor, it's actually faster to travel in an e-tron. I would certainly love to see someone put that to the test. Like Lucid and other automakers we've been covering in the last few weeks, Rivian is keen to let everyone know that it's still working hard on the R1T and R1S electric pickup and electric SUV. And this week it showcased footage of a pre-production prototype being constructed at its facility. Essentially a body-in-white vehicle, the R1T is seen going through the production process and, while a lot of the construction is done in a labour-intensive way, rather than an automated production line that you would see later on in the process, it highlights the progress that Rivian is making on its way to market. Rivian has already stated its vehicles will be delayed due to coronavirus, so here's hoping things can spin back up as soon as it's safe for everyone to return to work. Talking of delays, Ford has confirmed in a roundabout sort of way that the Mustang Mach-E will suffer some delays due to the pandemic du jour. While Ford hasn't publicly stated to the press that production will be delayed, reports come in that some European customers are receiving notification from Ford that their cars will be later to arrive than initially promised. As we covered in a show a few weeks ago, Ford is busy working on the Mustang Mach-E, even though social distancing is still in effect around the world, with engineering testing and building iterations of the car's suspension and handling software at home before testing them out on engineering prototype Mach-E's. It's not clear just how long the delay will be, but with at least some of Ford factories working on other things like essential medical equipment, the delay won't be known until things have calmed down a significant amount. With fewer people travelling around the world, demand on fossil fuels has dropped significantly in recent weeks, and that's led to a massive glut of crude oil. And while oil producing, or should that be oil extracting nations, are still pumping oil out of the ground, fewer people are wanting to buy it. And that led to prices for crude oil going negative this week, with future traders who normally buy rights to crude oil in order to then sell them off at a profit, actually paying people to take oil off their hands before it made landfall. It led to some pretty inaccurate news reporting, but suffice to say, no, it's not going to kill EVs, and no, it's not going to lead to free petrol. At one time, every automaker out there seemed to have its own car-sharing platform, intending to get people driving cars on an ad hoc basis. And over the last few years, those services have shut down, and GM's own car-sharing platform, Maven, has become the latest to get axed. Blaming COVID-19 and the need to socially distance, GM has officially shut down Maven completely, which is a shame. But wait, because there's a silver lining. Maven used Chevrolet Volts and Chevrolet Bolts as the cars of choice for the service, and that means, you've guessed it, that we could see some really affordable Chevy Bolts and Volts hit the used car market in North America in the near future. Both cars don't have any high issues with mileage, so you could nab a bargain. And for reference, I think our most recent Bolt purchase was actually a high mileage ex-Maven car. And now it's time for shorts. Mercedes-Benz has officially ended development of hydrogen fuel cell cars, instead deciding to focus on battery electric for passenger vehicles. At the same time, however, it has announced a partnership with Volvo to develop fuel cell commercial trucks. Lordstown has officially pushed back the launch date of its endurance pickup truck to January 2021. As you might expect, the reason for the delay is the same as everyone else's reasons for delays: shutdowns caused by coronavirus. Tesla has patented a new single crystal nickel cobalt aluminium electrode for use in lithium-ion battery packs. Created with a two-step synthetic process, the new electrodes are said to have a far longer life than current electrodes and could lead to that 1 million mile EV that Elon Musk has been promising. Hydro-Quebec, a public utility in Montreal, Canada, has announced that it's working on commercializing the breakthrough solid-state battery announced 2 years ago by Professors John Goodenough and Maria Helen Braga, as well as their associated teams. If successful, the glass-based solid-state battery could change EVs and batteries forever. China has cut subsidies for electric vehicles, ending funds available for more premium, expensive models. This has led to an immediate increase in sticker price for Chinese-made Tesla Model 3s, as they no longer qualify for those government subsidies. A New Jersey solar power company has announced a massive behemoth of an electric SUV called the Triton EV Model H, bigger than an Escalade and featuring design elements of both an Escalade and a Lincoln Navigator. We discussed some of its optimistic range quotes earlier this week. Tesla's head of AI and computer vision, Andrej Karpathy, has given a presentation at the Scaled Machine Learning Conference in which Teslas are shown to identify and stop for pedestrians crossing the road. It's certainly one worth watching. Kawasaki's prototype electric motorcycle has just been given a name, the EV Endeavour, and in a series of new videos appears closer to production than it previously was. Unlike other electric motorcycles, it interestingly retains its manual gearbox. Opel already produces a plug-in hybrid version of its Mokka crossover, but this week it teased an all-new, all-electric variant. We'll likely see more of this car in a few months, but it shows that Opel's new parent is really supporting EV development. We covered dumb Tesla YouTubers on this channel before, but this week we found a new video that sunk to a new low. Seeing what happens if you exit the car while autopilot is active. I'm not sharing the video, don't do it, just don't. It's a Darwin Award waiting to happen. Do you really want the Darwin Award? A new insurance product has launched in the UK aimed specifically at Tesla owners. Operated by a company called Buy Miles, it piggybacks off Tesla's telematics system to figure out how many miles you drive and then bill you based on that. If you don't drive a lot, and who does these days, it could save you a lot of money. Tesla's Giga Nevada, where Tesla makes Model 3 battery cells as well as batteries and things for the range of energy storage products, will open its doors on May 4th after being shut for COVID-19. A series of policies will be put in place to reduce infection risks. Long before coronavirus hit, Mini had chosen the name Corona Spoke for the unique asymmetrical wheels available on certain high-level trim levels of the Mini Cooper SE EV. Now Mini has decided to rebrand them Power Spokes instead. Niro has begun deliveries of its updated, refreshed ES8 electric SUV in China. The ES8 is currently Niro's most popular model, and the new version promises a range of up to 580 kilometres on the NEDC test cycle. A recent study from JD Power suggests that customers are less confident in autonomous vehicles than they once were, and no more confident than they were in previous surveys when it comes to EVs. A lack of decent EV education and advertising from automakers is majorly to blame. Biden has officially furloughed one half of its US workforce as stay-at-home restrictions and COVID-19 financial woes start to hit. It's not clear how long these workers will have to stay home, but it's not good news for the company or the production plans for the FF91. Porsche is confirmed to be working on a new two-wheel drive, cheaper Taycan model, which will sit below the Porsche Taycan 4S in the Taycan family. It's not clear what exactly the specs will be, but don't expect this car to be cheap. Kia has confirmed that it's working on bringing a new 300-mile capable electric SUV to market in the US for the end of 2021. Unlike the Kia e-Niro in the video that I'm showing here, it will be designed as an electric-only model. And those are your shorts. As usual, there'll be more next week. When Ford unveiled the Mustang Mach-E electric SUV last November, it came under a lot of fire from purists. They were unhappy that the Mustang name was being given to something that frankly didn't look a whole lot like a Mustang. Although Ford did make a one-off hot rod for SEMA called the Mustang Lithium, which was based off a Mustang, purists have still had a mixed reaction. But now Ford has unveiled another one-off car that I think will get hardened Mustang fans interested. The all-electric Mustang Cobra Jet 1400. It's more powerful, quicker, and faster than Chevrolet's eCopa Camaro, and promises a low 8-second quarter mile thanks to 1,400 horses. I'm ready to see it in action. And finally, if you've seen my personal Twitter or you follow my other YouTube channels, you might know that I've recently become a chicken parent. And I've been enthralled at how smart our chicks are after just 1 week and how quickly they learn to follow me, Mum, around. Just like ducklings and goslings are also known to do. Well, now researchers at RWTH University in Aachen, Germany have spun off a startup called Droid Drive, which uses that very principle of following the leader to develop lightweight, semi-autonomous electric delivery vehicles. They work by following behind a leader, a human riding a special hybrid electric delivery vehicle in the demonstration case, to make little trains of electrified delivery vehicles that can go places normal, full-size delivery vehicles can't. I think it is a fantastic idea, but I know some of you will think it's utter quackers. And on that note, it's the end of this week's show. But before I go, I just want to thank the Electric Auto Association for their sponsorship of today's show. They've been advocating for electric vehicles since 1967, and they firmly believe that our future depends on us all making the switch to clean, green electric cars today. You can find out how to join, how to become a local EV educator in your community, find local monthly meetups to attend, or just find EV owners to talk about making the switch to electric by going to electricauto.org. We would love it if you would like, comment and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And if you feel able, please do consider supporting us using the links below. Although we are lucky and we're still able to produce videos and keep the business afloat, our viewer count has gone up, but our ad revenue has really dropped. It's now less than a third of what it was a few months ago. We're getting rid of the studio as quickly as possible, the end of July, in order to save money, but like many content creators, we are now really feeling it. If you can, we're always grateful for whatever support you can give, whether you can offer it, and it doesn't have to be money. Just sharing our videos really helps the YouTube algorithm and gets more people watching the videos, which means it saves our ad revenue. I'm going to try for another hangout on Sunday over on the second channel. That's Transport Evolved Take 2. And you will find a link if you look in the show notes below. As usual, I'm going to aim for around a 10 a.m. Pacific start. And rumour does have it that I maybe be doing some Formula E racing later on today on Twitch. So follow my Twitter account for more info. I'll be back soon with another show, but thanks for joining me. Stay healthy, wash your hands, and as always, keep evolving.